So we're going to talk about the Redskins, and Ron Rivera has moved up the coast and gone from Carolina to Washington. I don't know. I don't know. I guess the question I want to ask from a coaching standpoint is: do you guys think? I think the question is: did he underachieve in Carolina, or is he just another mediocre coach that keeps getting a head coaching job?
I think he's a mediocre coach, to be honest with you.
Yeah, is he?
I I wish him the. I hope he does better in Washington. But how many years was he in Carolina? He was there for a long time. I think he only had 3 winning seasons. He went to the Super Bowl once that year. They went 15-1, but other than that, didn't really do
Yeah,
much.
yeah. His career record is 79 and 67. He's at just above 500. Um, that's not super impressive for sure.
Yeah, especially because one of those seasons they went 15-1, so there's plus 14 there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Um, he was in Carolina for 8 years. So, is he? Is he the Jim Caldwell and North Turner of the modern era, or did he just did he have his hands tied and blah blah blah, and is he going to break out in Washington? I guess remains to be seen. But is Dan Snyder still the owner of the Redskins?
Yes, he is.
Well, good luck, Ron.
Yeah.
Well, I know they have Jack Del Rio as a defensive coach, so if him and Rivera could put something together defensively, they'll be fine.
Yeah,
But
good point.
offensively, I don't know what they're going to do offensively with Dwayne Haskins as a quarterback, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, and I've got them. They'll be lucky, in my opinion. They'll be lucky to win 6 games. Looking at the schedule, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I highly doubt they get to 6 games. They just don't have the talent.
No, I only got them winning 3 this year.
Yeah, is there anything that stands out with the Redskins for either of you?
Well, they got Chase Young on the defensive side. He was the number 2 overall pick. He'll be a stud.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job revamping the defense. They lost a couple corners, but they gained a couple. And like Zach said, bringing Chase Young in, they had got Montez Sweat last year. So those two on the D line together should be good. They still got Durantane in the middle of the D line and Ryan Kerrigan in the back. Still have Landon Collins for another 4 years, I think, 4 or 5 years. With Jack Del Rio is a pretty good defensive coach. He wasn't really the greatest head coach. And I think that's a lot of what Ron Rivera is too. Great defensive coach, just not the best head coach. But if those two can pull together that defense, then maybe they do what the Patriots did last year and have the defense completely carry the team all year. But that's not very likely.
And it didn't get them very far, the Patriots.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that in the playoffs nowadays.
Yeah. So, do you think they've got what it takes to stop the Eagles and the Cowboys in the division?
Oh.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think I have them getting a win with the Giants, but I think I have both the Eagles and the Cowboys beating them twice this year.
Yeah, and even the Giants. That's that home field coin flip thing we talked about. Just if I have a team, 2 teams that are evenly matched, rather than flip a coin, I'll give it to the home team just for the push. And that's kind of the way I looked at Washington and New York. That they probably just win at home and leave it at that.
They also lost Trent Williams and Eric Flowers, which are 2 kind of premier offensive linemen, and they didn't really add anybody. I think they drafted a guy, but their offensive line got worse. They have a running back and Darius Geis who has a lot of talent, but he can't stay healthy, which is obviously going to be a problem down the line. They have Adrian Peterson as backup to him. Somebody on their team that they drafted that I think is going to be really interesting to see what happens with is Thaddeus Moss, Randy Moss's nephew, I think, right?
Okay.
That's his son.
Oh, that's his kid. Okay. Yeah, he's a tight end. He's obviously a big dude like his dad. He was drafted kind of later, so I don't know what his role is going to be on that team. But they don't have Jordan Reed there anymore, so I expect him to take on a pretty big role. I think he's going to be Haskins' safety blanket as the year goes on.
Okay, so I've got him. I've got him lucky to win 5. Zach, what did you have them at?
I have him with 3 and 13.
Yeah, Jeff, you had him at 1 and 15, right?
That's right.
Oh, not a lot of hope coming from this podcast.
I think in the next few years, though, if Rivera's a real deal, he'll turn them around. They'll get better. But as far as this year and next year, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, and I'm not completely down on Rivera like I was Jim Caldwell and even North Turner. You know, the thing about North Turner is he was still a mediocre coach, but when you look at the talent that guy squandered, you know, if he had a mediocre team, he would have been at the bottom of the barrel every time. So I think Rivera has, you know, hasn't been stellar, but he hasn't been bad, right? I mean, they, you know, I don't know, they win some games at home and right around 500, I guess. So, like I said, hopefully he can push and make something happen. Maybe it's a better deal for him. So we'll wish him luck.
Yeah, no doubt.